So this is my hair tutorial about how I'm going to sort of do my hair. For Christmas, Santa very lovingly brought me some Babyliss Pro Curl 210s, which are curling tongs, and they have 5 different heat settings, which sort of helps create different styles of curl. They heat up really quickly. Like, I've only just turned these on and already they're getting quite hot. I'd say that's about 60 degrees or something. So they're really easy to use, and I'm just going to show you quickly how I use them on my hair. Now, I've got really long hair and quite thick, which is quite unusual for like really pale skin, quite fair, or used to be fair hair. So I'm just going to show you how to do some curls. It's pretty much the same for all curling tongs which have clamps. So they will work for pretty much anything, like Enrapture curling tongs with the clamp, or Tony and Guy, whatever you have, it should work the same. So as you can see, my hair's quite naturally sort of wavy and got a natural kink to it. I'm just going to get the little knots at the back with my Tangle Teezer Compact. This is really good as well. It doesn't hurt or anything. As you can see, it just goes through the hair, neatens it out without taking away any volume or any excess hair. That's very good. And it's always important before you start curling or styling your hair that you have relatively not free hair. I mean, a little bit of resistance from the hair is always good, because that means that it's going to take up the style really well. But losing volume is a really bad thing with hairbrushes. So if your hairbrush takes away any volume or leaves your hair really limp or really just not nice, I would recommend you try something else, especially the Tangle Tees. This was $12.99 I think, and it's just really good. I use it every day without fail. And you can get these from the Tangle Teezer website. I'll link it in the description box, but this is really good. So while I've been rambling on about nothing in particular, these have been heating up really, really quickly. So I'm just going to start at the bottom. So as you can see, just one strand or tendril of hair. You just clamp it in the bottom, close it, and you just start twirling. These, the box says that it creates soft curls, and I wholly agree. This is really, really good for long hair, short hair. For short hair, I'd probably recommend like a thinner barrel, but whatever floats your boat. You just wait, and it does. As you can see, it's come up with like a really nice curl. If you use a lower heat setting, it tends to come up less curly and less defined, but I think for the look I'm going for, it'll have to be quite defined, because I want it to look quite messy but pretty. You'll see at the end what I mean. Also, you need to sort of not go straight up to the top, because otherwise it'll end up out here, and that's really not a good look unless you want to go back to like in the 1980s or something. So you just wait for a couple of seconds and then let it go, and it's there. Like, you've got these gorgeous curls just waiting. Obviously you're not going to be able to sort of curl each bit individually, but being able to have some really defined ones at the front is really important. The underneath ones aren't as important, but you still want them to be quite sort of curled, and you just want the whole head to have a kind of loose, wavy feel to it, because if you leave some straight bits underneath, it will make your hair look longer, but it will also make it look a bit scruffy. As you can see, I've just kind of got some curls going on there. Also important is to make sure that occasionally you get some really sort of like thinner, long bits of hair and curl those. Because if all the long bits of hair are curled in really thick chunks, then it's going to look a little bit like, I don't know, just it doesn't look as nice. Take my word for it. So you can see we've got some nice curls coming at the front. If you wanted more like tightly defined curls, you can use the top heat setting, which I haven't actually used yet because I don't like heating my hair too much. But this is currently on 195, and there are like 5 heat settings. The lowest one doesn't even have a number attached to it, it's just there. But there is 165, 180, 195 and 210. I haven't gone past the 200 barrier yet, but once I do, I'm sure I will show you how it looks. It doesn't really matter that they're all sort of in order and curly. They just sort of have to be around the barrel, if you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't have to be the top bit at the top and then the bottom bit at the bottom. You can always just mix it up a little bit. As long as you get a curl, then it doesn't matter how you do it. So as you can see, it's curled up quite a lot, because that's the length of the hair and that's the length that the curls are sitting at. You're also going to need some hairspray, but I found that the curls created by this are quite long lasting, so you shouldn't have to use too much. And this is the whole thing about the using individual strands to create really defined curls that stay up, because after a while it will droop out a bit, but it will look nice because of the definition in the curls to begin with. So you can see it's changed the length of my hair completely because the curls are so defined and tight. And obviously if you want to get a looser curl, you can use a lower heat setting, just whatever you fancy doing. It's free for experimenting because it doesn't take long to heat up at all. Yeah, if you get kind of two bits, one that's come from the bottom and one that's come from the top, you do tend to sort of two birds, one stone it. You do only end up curling the bottom bit though, so if you're going to try and do it quickly, you have to take into consideration it's not going to be as neat. So you can see obviously there's a curl there, and as you get closer to the back they will be looser because obviously you haven't got as much control because the hair is being pulled round, so it's not as long. But as long as you end up with some form of wave in your hair, then you've probably succeeded. Oh, I'm sorry this is taking so long, it has to be perfect. There we go, see, and we've got a side, and you can see how much tighter the curls are than what my hair is like naturally. So obviously that is a good thing. I mean, as you get closer to the back, you can use bigger pieces, as long as you remember the sort of do 2 big pieces to 1 thinner bit, and you should be fine. If your hair is naturally like really straight, you should probably go closer to the top, but because mine is naturally quite wavy, I don't really need to. So I'm just going to split this bit of hair that I've just pulled forward into 2. That is going to create more of a defined curl, because as you can see that is obviously longer than the curled bits. I mean, we've only been doing this for 7-8 minutes, and we've already done half the head. I mean, obviously the other side with the fringe is going to take longer, but it doesn't take long at all to create some really nice curls. Right, so that's that side done. What I find best to start with is if you do the fringe last. So if you get pieces from underneath and at the back for this side to start with, just pull it around. It doesn't really matter which direction the curls are going in until you get to the fringe and the top layer of the hair. Before then it should be fine doing it whichever way takes your fancy. As you can see, we've got a curl nicely formed there. If you've got layers, then all the better, because it means that there's more texture in your curls. But if you don't, then it's not to worry, because it will end up looking the same kind of look. You've just got to make sure you change directions more. I do tend to find that I'm lazier on this side of my hair because I think I've already done half of it, it will look fine. But if you've already got one side and it's really nicely defined curls, then you need to make sure that you put the same amount of effort in both sides of the hair. If you didn't watch my last video that I put up, Then the makeup that I'm wearing is, I think, NYC Natural Matte Foundation in Ivory, Collection 2000 Natural Minerals Powder, Benefit, What's Up, and lip balm and some Tarte Amazonian Clay, just to put underneath the highlighter. But while we're doing this, I might as well have a bit of discussion with myself while you're watching. I had a very nice Christmas, thank you for asking. It went very well. I was in Birmingham actually on Christmas Day, and that was really nice. I was staying with family. I got money and clothes and makeup and things like that. One of the things that I got was this lip gloss, which is Vinyl Gloss by Rimmel in Red Ginger. I think it was kind of like an inside joke because my hair used to be relatively gingering and my family used to find it absolutely hilarious. Personally, I don't think it was ginger, but I guess you can't stop it sometimes. But it's a really nice colour, and I'll probably pop it up in another video. Yes, as you can see, we've kind of got like curls coming along. You just need to make sure that you get most bits of the hair curled, otherwise you're going to end up looking a little bit silly. So that was my dad. Right, I think this is pretty much it. I'll put up a picture after I've finished. So I'll speak to you later. Thank you for watching.